So she tells him she must go out for the evening to comfort an old friend who's feeling down.
We are live in the Santan Valley for the first time in...
It's been like 10 years, I think.
And about probably about 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think 4 weeks.
4 weeks, and this is CAC Live, and we appreciate all the comments and the messages, people that missed us. We had Joe. Joe was in Costa Rica, and he was a South American traveler, and I like the. Is it a plantain or banana?
Yes.
I was just noticing.
You want to see my banana
bracelet? Yeah.
You want to see my banana?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's I don't know if people can see that. You showed that to me last week when I stopped by the station, and you said they were real bananas that they glazed over and turned into jewelry.
I love it.
Makes
me remember my Costa Rican experience.
I think we're broadcasting in Costa Rica. Is that what you told me? So CAC Live is in Costa Rica?
We are in Costa Rica.
Wow.
Hello, Costa Rica.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of Americans that go down there and buy property, and my wife loves International House Hunter, so I always see that Costa Rica is like the number one spot for that show.
My buddy owns that show.
That's right, you did tell me that.
Right,
so
that's a great show.
We're giving him a
love that show.
So but it's great to be back. The new season of CAC Live, we are booked through August with shows, and we have a lot of shows. Luis Sanchez and did I just screw up?
No.
Did I? No, I'm sorry. I thought I screwed up something. They looked at me funny because you know what I hear?
I'm here.
Lewis is there, and Veronica Duran are joining us, and Veronica has been a mainstay on the show now for. And Lewis, I think you're close. I think you're second to appearances by Veronica.
Yeah, she always wins.
So, and we're going to talk a little bit about the programs that are upcoming this summer for high school students and the opportunity to go to CAC and earn those credits. And there's a young man I met the other night at the Student Awards. His name is Jordan Bruner. He's going to be graduating from CAC the week before he graduates from Casa Grande High School, or I'm not sure which high school he goes to in Casa Grande, but one of the two that he's graduating from. I was talking to him, and he actually is going to graduate and walk next Saturday night from CAC and then graduate from his high school. So really neat.
Yeah, it's great.
Pretty cool.
I think we have about 3 or 4, I think it was 4 was the count the last time I looked at high school students that are getting their associate degree and their high school diploma at the same time.
That's amazing. We're going to talk more about that, and we're going to open up the phones for people to call in. I do want to just take a moment. We had one of our governing board members, the president of the governing board, Lindy Arrington, passed away on Sunday. Just a tremendous lady. And our condolences go out to Jack Arrington and their extended family. Really just terrific people. She became president of the board here in January. And then back in 2008, she joined the board after being elected. It was the same time that CAC received the bond. And she's been instrumental over the last few years, has been an integral part of CAC growing and the campuses being built during her time, and just a wonderful person. And she was a native of, I believe, Nebraska, but she had lived in eastern Pennsylvania in a town real close to my grandmother, and there were a lot of the things is where my upstate Pennsylvania is where my mom's side is from, and we used to sit and talk about those areas because there's some iconic restaurants and sort of places you'd visit, and just we just want to send our heartfelt condolences to the family. Just a terrific person. CAC Live every Thursday here from 10:30 to 11:30. We'll be on all summer and throughout the year. And Joe, why don't you give out the number, and then we're going to talk to Lewis and Veronica about how students can get some really good programs this summer at CAC.
And that would be to call in 480-745-1033. And you can jump on the chat as well off the website. Just go to live chat, and you can go ahead and chat with us too.
So, Veronica, let's talk a little bit about, we mentioned Jordan Bruner's going to graduate, and you said there's about 4 or so students that are going to do this. How do they manage to do this? How do they manage to graduate from CAC with a degree before they graduate from high school?
Well, actually, it's a lot more simple than you think because CAC offers so many different high school scholarship programs that students can take part in. one of them being the First Step program, which is a summer program that high school students that have completed their sophomore year in high school, they can take part in that summer program and get up to 7 credits. Up to 7 credits. Is that better?
Better.
Sorry. Up to 7 credits free. They just need to provide their own books and transportation, and they can do that during the summer. And then during the school year, they can take part in the early college program and receive tuition. And then they only provide their books and transportation to the college.
Now, when students take these credits during the summer, and they're tuition free. And they get tuition waivers to do that during the summer. But I think one of the big things that people and parents need to understand is that when they're taking these, it's not like going to like a summer camp. That this is a real class and it will affect your GPA. Lewis is nodding too. But talk about that, Veronica. That is really important. That you got to have the mindset that you're going to college, and the parents and the student need to understand that.
Right. Even though they're still high school students, it is they are college classes, so the content is still college material, college conversations with college students. So they need to understand that. They have instructors that might not, some of them do, but they might not kind of handhold them through the class as their high school instructor might do. So the grades are part of their academic record throughout their entire college history. So from that point forward, they're now creating a record for their college credits. And so they need to understand that it might affect future financial aid or scholarship eligibility if they don't do so well in a class. So something that they need to make sure that their maturity level is at the point that they are ready to take college classes. If
a student has a really high GPA in high school, then decides to take these classes but struggles a little bit, and just a lot of times it's a maturity level, can it impact them being eligible for scholarships and like promise for the future and the different things, because they have the high GPA in high school, but now they're starting to get a college transcript.
Right. And one of the things that they don't realize is once they start creating that college record, that GPA, we can't go back and say, oh, well, you were a high school student, so we're not going to count that class. It will maintain on their record throughout their college history. So when they go to apply for financial aid and they're looking at, their GPA status and their satisfactory academic progress and things like that, it will affect those things. And when they go to apply for scholarships later on, and that scholarship application might ask, what is your current GPA? That's going to affect that scholarship. So
Veronica is the registrar. Veronica, tell people what a registrar does. You hear that term, and everybody has to go see the registrar. You're laughing, but it's one of the key roles at a college.
Well, my role at the college is really to maintain and make sure that the records throughout the district for students are accurate. They're able to get the services that they need to register for classes, provide their transcripts if they're transferring to universities or colleges, or if they're high school students and they need to make sure that when they've taken the college class, that credit gets back to their high school so that they can get those dual credits for those. So that's kind of what our area does it for the institution.
Let's bring in Lewis here. And Lewis, you oversee recruitment. Give us your official title, and what do you, broadly, what is your job?
Well, I'm the Director of Admissions and Recruitment for the district, so we do a little bit of everything, I think, is the safe way to put it. Myself and our outreach team, which consists of recruiters, outreach coordinators, various folks throughout the 10 different locations that CAC has to offer, we go out and I work with our staff and say our job is to pretty much blanket the county first, and then extend those borders beyond throughout the state of Arizona to be able to provide information to people who are interested in Central Arizona College, potential students of, as I say, all age, shapes, and sizes, because we are a community college, so we're open to all community members, adult and high school students. For this particular programs, we really we kind of run the show in the sense of getting out and making the push to inform parents, students, high school teachers, counselors, administrators throughout Pinal County about the wonderful opportunities that the First Step and Early College programs present for these students, how it's giving them an opportunity, for First Step over the summer to keep their mindset in academia and going to school and get a jump start on their college education, save their family potentially some money. Cost is a big concern for for just about all today when it comes to college education. So giving them an avenue to maybe save some money, start that college transcript in a good note, and get some college credits under their belt. At the same time, some of those college credits, a lot of the high schools work with these students to bring those back to their high school and work toward their graduation requirements. So it keeps them on track or maybe gets them ahead and allows them to get their foot in the door and kind of get used to the college campus, so it's not that big of a shock, if you would, when they have to make that transition from a full-time high school student to a college student. So our job is getting out there and working with the students, parents, families, and schools to let them know what we have to offer for these programs and how we can guide them.
It's, in my role, I've been out in the community a lot, and I see you out in the community a lot. We cross paths a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And it struck me now, thinking about your role and some of the things that you described, is that at a four-year institution, I believe you worked at a four-year institution prior to coming to CAC, it seems like at CAC, there's more in your role and with your staff of almost like a grassroots. It's like you're more involved with the families and at an earlier age, as opposed to a big university that basically, we got tons of applications. We can kind of pick and choose. Would you say that's true?
I'd say that 100%. When I look at our marketing strategy for what we're doing, if you would, grassroots is a key component. We're a rural community, so it suits well. There's that family orient is still out there in the community, so we know if we can get in with mom or dad or brother or sister, it can resonate through them, and then sister, brother, cousin, uncle, neighbor. It's very common. So yes, we definitely run a very grassroots model, but then we're starting to integrate it more with things like social media. You're trying to use the colleges, Facebook, Twitter, those things, because we know there's a good blend within our communities now. We have a lot of the younger generation that wants to tap into those avenues. But yeah, we will probably always rely heavily on the grassroots campaign, and as we call it, hitting the pavement, putting the feet to the pavement, and getting out, showing your face. And that's, I think, as a community college, I think that's part of our responsibility, is to get in and intermingle with our community members at community events, high schools. We go into middle schools and make sure we have somebody there coming in with their CAC shirt and, setting up shop to be able to talk to people, answer questions, make sure they're comfortable with us.
You mentioned that CAC is a rural community college, and it is, but this county is so different. You look at the Santan area, 80,000 plus people. In your role, do you have to take different approaches in different areas of the county?
Oh, 100%. So kind of what we do is we look at each area, and even from school to school, they can be different from one school to the next.
In the same area?
In the same area. They could be in the same city. You could have 3-4 high schools in the same city, and you have to address every school. So what we try to do is assess the needs of each of the communities, each of the schools, and our outreach staff can go in one school that's 2 minutes away from another school might have different needs. Their student population might be a little different. So we really work with them to see what are their needs of CAC, how can we best suit their students, their faculty, their staff, and then we go from there. So we work hand in hand with the schools or the businesses or the organizations, and kind of let them give us a little bit of what they want from us, and then in turn we try to gear toward what we think will fit best for their school and work together in a collaborative effort, and that's what we try to do really throughout the county and even beyond.
Joe, before I know we had a caller had a question. I just want to follow up with Lewis on what he's saying. When you look at the schools, when you look at a lot of school districts in different places around the country, especially back east, you're within the border. You stay in that school. Here in Arizona, you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go. So you do get this, which would explain why you have different needs at the same school, as opposed to here's a city, here's your school district you go to. Is that what you're seeing? Is that it's like a sort of a cross-pollination of cultures, needs, socioeconomic levels?
Oh yeah. You definitely can. And even just in our county alone, very spread out. You have different dynamics from one, small community maybe on the far eastern part of the county to right over here in the Santan Valley. Different dynamics of folks, different cultures, things like that. So you always have to stay sensitive to that and make sure that we're going to be able to provide what their needs are there. Sometimes it's easy for them to say, okay, we're going to take this cookie cutter and we're going to use it everywhere, but it doesn't always make the right cookie. So we gotta alter it a little bit, staying within what we can work with, and making sure that we're always providing the best that we have to offer when we're out representing the college.
I think we find that in marketing the college. I think a lot of people find that in different avenues, even professors in teaching in the different locations at CAC. It's just different. In the eastern part of the county, geography is a challenge because we have the Aravalaipa campus, but most of those students probably have to drive minimum 10 miles to get to that campus. So how do you sell that to them, or what's your approach to something like that as opposed to having a campus in Apache Junction where the city and the people live right there?
Yeah, we always try to remind them about the different accessibility that we have. We're talking about the different ways that they can take their class, look at an online, maybe a hybrid. Is it a face-to-face? The buddy system is something we sell a lot when it comes to First Step. Are you going to do this with a high school friend? Maybe you guys share a ride into the campus. You share the cost for gas. Maybe you even share the cost for books where you guys can study together. So study buddies, that type of stuff. So we do that a lot with the high school, and we see that resonate because I know when I used to work closely with some of the schools located near the Signal Peak campus, I would go onto campus one day for lunch, and I'd spend 2-3 hours there talking to students. And then right when the school bell was out, you'd see them all trekking in the front doors in groups, and they're all coming in cars together. Their buddy that has a car, 3 or 4 of them packed in like sardines, and their little Honda come out, and they do the placement test together. They go to an advising forum together, which we do to help them feel. And a lot of times it helps them, feel comfortable in making that transition. So they're with somebody else to make it happen. So that's kind of how we address when those the students that are further out. Let's work together, see who else is in your school that's going. Maybe your best friend. This could be a good idea for them, and have them come together. So that helps out a lot, and you kind of help perk the ideas in the high school kid's brain a little bit and say, hey, this, don't make a barrier of it. Look at it as a fun opportunity that you can collaborate with a friend or somebody else to get yourself to the campus. So
it's carpooling to school. It's a great idea.
Exactly.
Joe, we had a caller.
Yeah, Billy from Chandler would like to know what is the cost per credit hour at CAC, and I think we should just give out some website and contact info and all that.
Yes, definitely. Our website is www.centralaz.edu. And we have a quick link that goes right into our tuition and fees, and it's got our tuition and fees are getting ready to change for the summer second session. July 1st will go up a couple bucks. Right now, currently, we're at $72 per credit, and really, it's kind of hard to say what your tuition and fees are going to be, depending on the classes that you take. Some of them, if you go into like the medical field, they might have some insurance fees or those types of things that might apply to it. But for the most part, it's the standard $72 per credit, and so we're pretty cheap. So you get a good education at a low cost, and so you definitely want, and we're all transferable credits, so you can take classes at CAC. They'll transfer to any of the community colleges throughout the state, and also the universities. We're part of that Arizona General Education curriculum, and so you don't have to worry about, okay, if I take this class here, am I going to lose credit if I decide to go somewhere else? So you can kind of look into different fields and different areas. If there's something that we don't offer, you can at least take your general education classes with us.
And one of the things, and what was this gentleman's name from Chandler?
Billy.
If, depending on where he lives in Chandler, we have a lot of different locations. Obviously, there's options for another community college in Maricopa County, but we have a lot of options, and we're not far. If you're in Chandler, you cut through the reservation and end up at the Signal Peak campus down 87, and it's a really close trip. The Santan campus is going to open up, so if you're in the kind of the eastern part of Chandler, you can come out here. If you're closer to Gilbert, you can shoot over to the Superstition Mountain campus. So there's a lot of different options, and one of the big things that I said, there's a lot of push for expansion of people trying to get their degrees, and they do it online, or they're going to places where it more or less looks like an office park, but CAC's built campuses. And you get with that the culture, you get that feel, and I think that's one of the biggest things, Veronica, in terms of what's going to happen in Santan and in what's happening in Maricopa, and what has happened in Apache Junction with the Superstition Mountain campus, is that CAC is creating a campus life. at those locations. And I think they're poised that you guys are going to get hit with a huge enrollment, especially when the Santan campus opens up.
We hope so. We hope so. One of the great things about CAC is we offer that, that one-on-one personal touch. You walk in and you have a familiar face every time you visit the campus, and you get to interact with the staff and the advisors, and they sit down and they get to know your name. And that's one of the great things about, even though we've expanded and grown so much, we're still pretty small as far as community and kind of like a family, and so we get to know you and get to know what the needs are of the communities, and that's what we're really working towards, is making sure that the students are successful and able to complete what they're looking for.
Big time education, small town touch.
Yes.
Is really what it is.
Yes.
Definitely.
So, Louis, when you look at what's going to happen here with the Santan campus, especially 80-some thousand people. They've had a lot of other options. Some go to the Signal Peak campus, some go to Superstition Mountain, many go to other locations. But now you plant this in the middle of all these people. In some ways, it might be a little frightening to look at the potential. In a good way, but it's frightening is probably a bad word, but it could be over. You look at it and go, wow, look at the potential here.
Oh, definitely. I see tons of potential. This area of the county, this area of Arizona has, I think, more potential than a lot of other places just in general. We see it as definitely an area that I don't think we've even come close to tapping into the potential number of students that we could that could take advantage of the opportunity of having that, again, what you said, that college campus in their backyard. Before, they had to go out of the area to other places, whether it's to CAC or into Maricopa County. Now they're going to have an option where they can take that short drive in their own neighborhood, in their own community, close to home. They're going to have their library, their student space on campus. They're going to have the nice classrooms. As Veronica said, they're going to have that personal touch now, where they're not going to feel so distant from a college life and a college experience. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for their community, all the way from the high school kids on up, to be able to stay in their own community and be able to obtain a college education, whether it's a degree, a certificate, maybe it's just some fun classes that they want to take for some of the retirees. Maybe it's taking that fun photography class or whatnot. But we think there's definitely going to be a lot of opportunity. We're going to really do our best to get out there into the community and inform them, provide information about what we talked about earlier, is how do you get into CAC, who do I talk to? And we're working on that strategy right now, where we can put some more feet to the pavement, if you would, in the region, to make sure we're in good communication with all the schools and the business leaders and all those folks, to let them know they're going to have a prime opportunity in their own backyard to work with our partnership with the college. So it's exciting.
Is distance and geography for a community college important? I guess location. Is it important?
I think it's extremely important, because it's not quite like your big four-year universities that they can plant residence halls right in the middle of the campus or near around. If you go up to a school like Arizona State, where they have tons and tons of living space for students right there, they can come from anywhere. So, and then when you talk about the folks out in the Santan area, if they want to go, they'd have to trek up to our AJ campus or down to Signal Peak, 30 minutes in the car, on a good day with no traffic and the small roads and all of that. Rather, I think most of them would probably pick the 5-minute drive or the 10-minute drive or the 10-minute drive to get to their class in the morning, or to go do an ad drop in the registration office, or apply to the college, or talk to someone from our office about one of the high school programs. So I think it does make a big difference in encouraging people to want to go to school and continue education beyond high school. I think it plays a strong role.
So it is, and this, I don't want this to come across negative, but with a community college, because of the ages, the median age of CAC students is close to 30, roughly in that range. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's about convenience. Mm-hmm. They want to do it, but they have life, a lot of the people. Mm-hmm. So anything you can do, position the institution in a location where they can get to. A simple thing like those in Queen Creek, which is actually Maricopa County, not having to fight traffic going toward the city, but coming into Pinell County, where going in that direction in the morning, there is no traffic. And now it's easy for them. Can little things like that make a difference?
Definitely. I think most would probably agree. People like easy. They like easy. So if I can choose to fight traffic or drive 30 minutes or have to
not pay for parking,
you know, who's not going to pick the more convenient option? Then you're talking about cost and comfort. When you look at CAC, if you threw all the colleges in the region on a board and you put them in a pecking order for cost, we were one of the most affordable options in the state of Arizona when it comes to tuition rates. Our class size is very manageable, so you get a good one-on-one student-to-teacher relationship, which a lot of folks aren't necessarily comfortable when they're going into. That's where some of that shock comes into play when you're talking about new college students, whether they're 35 or they're 17. When you walk into a lecture hall and there's 400 students in there, you can't really get that one-on-one student-to-teacher relationship like you can get at CAC. I have the privilege to teach a class each semester at the college, and I can say I'm pretty comfortable walking around the campus, and students know me by name. I know them by name every semester. I would say if I had a class of 100 plus students, that's going to be pretty challenging for me, and that's not what happens. So I think you talk about comfort of getting to and from, the comfort when you get there, the cost. I think it all goes with the ease of making the option to choose CAC in that area.
And a lot of people listening may hear that saying, well, and maybe a generation that says, well, why are they making them comfortable? Why are they making it easy? They need to work and do this. But the reality is that a lot of the people that come back to CAC and community colleges in general do have families. It's not really saying we're trying to make it easier or comfortable for them. We're trying to make it accessible for them, really, is what it comes down to.
And we offer so many different classes, day classes, night classes, weekend classes. We have online classes. So we try to give them in all the different modalities so that whatever's convenient and accessible for that student, to make sure that, again, that they're successful, that they have the opportunity to take the classes. And that's what we're really committed to doing, is giving the community the opportunity to take to get an education, finish a certificate or degree, or like Lou even said, just take a class to improve on just some skills, maybe their computer skills. Lou's getting ready to offer an iPad class in the fall, so I mean, just little things like that might help, entertainment type, just kind of personal interest and those things. And one of the things that they're going to be doing in the fall too is, we have a lot of online classes, but you have to be really dedicated to take an online class, very self-motivated. And so what we're looking at is CAC's looking at offering classes. They're calling it online synchronized. And so even though it's a fully online class, you would be required to log in maybe Wednesday at 6 p.m. to have discussion boards and interact with your instructor and students. So you can still take a class and somebody going, oh, but I need that interaction. Well, you can still do that from home.
So you're not isolated of only doing your class 11 o'clock at night, if that's when you have to do it, and not really getting to know anybody.
Right, and so you still kind of get a little bit more of that college experience and interact with students. And, and what's great about that is you'll find other students that need a little bit, maybe some tutoring help that you can have little study groups with, and that's kind of what's great about, again, the smaller community college, making those connections with other students and staff.
You're listening to CAC Live. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more with Veronica and Lewis about Central Arizona College and the new campuses that are opening up and the many programs that the students can take, especially high school students. You're listening to CAC Live on KQCK in the Santan Valley.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley. Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899. Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. When you visit Hill Family Dentistry in Santan Valley, dentist Dr. Tim Hill provides each patient with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you and your family with services that will make you smile. With a full range of general, cosmetic, and specialty dentistry services that will keep you and your family smiling. Our commitment to our community is to provide outstanding oral health. Hill Family Dentistry is located on 36359 Gansell Road in Santan Valley, diagonally across from Banner Ironwood Hospital. Evening and weekend appointments available. We accept most insurances and have in-office policies available for non-insured. Contact us today at 480-588-8127. Hill Family Dentistry.
As a small business owner, you need to make every dollar count. Phone services are the first indication of quality your customers see in your business.
Get all the latest features at a great monthly cost that can save you money and project your business as a professional entity.
Call Zentris Communications at 1-877-ZENTRIS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
That's 1-877-936-8727.
You're listening to CAC Live. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero. We're live in the studios, the Joe Carrero studios. For a minute, I thought they were going to be Memorial Studios last week when we thought you were sick, but we're glad you're back. No, we're glad you're back. See, if you're listening out there, we appreciate you calling in. 480-745-1033. 480-745-1033. We're on nationwide, worldwide. We are on live in Costa Rica.
Yes, we are.
And if you can make an international call, give us a call. Talk about Central Arizona College. We do have students that come internationally to CAC. Yes. And it's a international student program, is a growing program at Central Arizona College. And when you call, or just if you're doing the chat here with Joe, let us know where you're calling from. We're plotting now exactly where people are. We've gotten calls from all over the country, and please feel free to call in and ask any question you like.
I'm going to get my little map so we can put pins in it.
Yeah, we're going to put it up right behind us here.
Right.
So one of CAC's signature programs, maybe the signature program, is Promise for the Future. And when I tell people about this, they're people that don't know about it are genuinely surprised about being able to offer students 2 years of tuition waivers if they're in Pinell County. And Veronica, why don't you talk a little bit about Promise for the Future?
Well, Promise for the Future is, kind of get it started a little bit. Promise for the Future is a program that's offered to high school graduates from Pinell County. A student, in order to take part in this program, has to sign the contract for Promise for the Future while they're in 8th grade. And so Lou's office is out making rounds now. We call them rock stars because they're out traveling on tour right now. During each semester, they've got focused areas that they pinpoint. But his office is out on tour right now doing Promise for the Future contracts with all of the middle schools. And so if you have a child in 8th grade, make sure that they're bringing home that information. And if they haven't brought it home to you yet, ask them about it. It's a contract that has to be signed while they're in 8th grade in order for them to participate when they graduate from high school. And I'm going to let Lou give you a little bit more details about the actual scholarship and how they can participate in that and maintain it.
Yes, basically right now we have our Promise for the Future coordinator who works out of my office is essentially going out and visiting on foot, in car, any which way possible, every Pinal County middle school out there, and providing. She does sessions and talks to the kids, explains the program and the opportunities that CAC provides with college education after high school. At those visits, she is presenting them with they're called promise contracts. It's an application that has to be completed in person on a live contract. It's not online. We haven't done that, so although you can find information about the Promise program on CAC's website, the actual application, the best place it can be picked up at is the local school that your son or daughter go to. If for any reason you cannot locate it there, you can always contact our office at CAC, and we could see about getting you a physical copy of the contract to then send back in. But always check with your school first, because they should have some on hand. We do put them out there. And what happens is when mom or dad or guardian and 8th grade student sign that contract, essentially the student is then tracked, and we keep the information. We keep them on record back at CAC, and we follow the activity with the high schools through their high school career. And when it comes time for senior year, then we work with the high schools throughout Pinal County and say, well, these are, let's get together. Let's identify all the Promise students in your school that are graduating this year. Let's look at those GPAs. Did they meet the 275 requirement coming up at graduation time? And then we do things like that I did last night at a local high school, where I went out and presented over 100 scholarships last night at a local high school here in Pinal County to high school seniors that are going to be graduating the next couple weeks, who are all recipients of the Promise for the Future scholarship that's going to lead to them going to CAC for 2 years of a tuition and fee waiver. So that's kind of how it breaks out.
I know I'm signing the certificates. I felt that if the students could take 4 years to do this, I could take a few minutes to actually do a real signature. So I've been signing. I think there was 836.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been signing away on them, but that's really a tremendous program. If people need to get a hold of the school, they're not getting it from their school, who should they call, or is there a number, or just call the main switchboard at CAC? Or
they can call the main switchboard and ask to be directed toward our Promise coordinator, or my office directly, someone in the admissions recruitment office. And then we actually keep a little bit of backstock of the applications there, because we know these are middle school kids. Sometimes it gets lost in the backpack, or it doesn't make that commute from school presentation home to mom or dad. So if mom or dad need to contact us, they can contact us, and we can identify what school they go to make sure they are an approved Pinal County Middle School, because that's what it has to be. Then we could do many things. They could schedule a time to come by and pick one up at one of our campuses or centers, or we could actually put one in the mail and send it out to them. And just as long as they get it back in time, we'll work with them on that. So,
what's the deadline?
They have to have it signed and back into CAC before the school year starts, before they start their freshman year of high school. So we'll give them a little bit of time because they're getting it late in the school year. We give them some time here at the end of the year to make sure they get it back in. Most of them come back through regular mail, so we know how the snail mail goes today. So we give them a little time to get it signed, make sure they have their information down, because we want them to keep record, get it back to their school or get it back to us in a timely fashion. Most can go back to their schools, and the schools will then deliver them to the college themselves in nice big bundles, so we have them all to track as one group of a school. So we really ask the parents to definitely be in good communication with their middle school of their son or daughter, to make sure that they're working together to ensure that the document's completed accurately, and then they can get it back to the college in a timely manner.
If somebody moves schools, they're, say, at a Coolidge school, end up at a Florence school in high school, they switch, they move, how do you track that?
Well, it happens quite a bit lately. If you notice, there's schools popping up all over Pinal County in the last several years. So kids have an idea that they're going to go to one high school, but they end up graduating from another. What we do is we ask any student who knows that they signed a Promise contract, that if they do move schools, or even if they move addresses or have updated contact information, to simply contact the college and let us know, so we keep a report, a file, a record, and we want to update the record, so when it comes time, we're identifying them with the correct school when it comes to graduation time.
I do want to touch base a little bit on we call it the Promise for the Future contract, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have to go to CAC. So we're not locking them into CAC.
Yeah.
So it's definitely does not harm in any way to just sign it, just to have it, so that when they do graduate from high school, you know, if they want to use that as an opportunity to go to college, it's there for them. It has to be signed while they're in 8th grade. And a little bit of background on the Promise for the Future, why it came about, and Tom, you can probably give a little bit more. It was really to help boost the high school graduation rate,
Right.
and get them. And what it is a promise from your 8th graders to graduate high school, and an incentive for them to finish high school and not to drop out of high school, and just to follow through with their education. And that was really the intent behind it, was to help with the high school graduation rates, and it gives them a little bit of an incentive on the back end. Hey, you do this. Hey, you do this. You know, make this commitment to finish high school, and we'll give this to you here through CAC.
Yeah, it's traditional, I guess, historically, Pinell County had seen its high school dropout rate grow, and it was really a way to sort of combat that. And it really has worked.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
you've seen the
has.
dropout rate, you know, start to go down as the population has increased,
Yeah.
which is a great thing. What I've always said about it, and it's kind of an odd thing, is that we could have 500 kids sign, and 490 don't come to CAC; they go somewhere else. But in the mission of a community college, yes, we want them to come to us.
Mm-hmm.
But in the mission of a community college and being a partner with the community, we did our job by enticing them to stay in school.
Stay in school, yeah.
Definitely.
You know, so it's the potentials there. A lot of them end up staying in school and going right to 4-year schools, sometimes out of state, different locations.
And another thing that I also wanted to talk about is, Promise for the Future. It plays a big role into the scholarship program, so that when it has a CAC GPA requirement of 2.75 when they start CAC, and they have to maintain that. Oh, I'm sorry, 2.5 while they're.
So it's a
at
275 coming out of high school
school.
that they need to have.
And when they're going to CAC, they have to maintain the 2.5 GPA. Now, the reason I want to kind of reiterate that 2.5 CAC GPA is because when students start taking part in the first step in early college, those classes affect their GPA while at CAC. And so while they're in high school and creating their academic record with CAC, when they start using their Promise scholarship, that's going to affect that scholarship when they start using it.
So if a student comes out of high school, has the 275 GPA, starts at CAC, and that first semester gets like a 2.3, is the scholarship ended, or is it based on the whole first year?
I checked with our financial aid office because we had a student that first semester is kind of a freebie.
And
so
it's hard. First semesters are hard on students making that
Yeah.
transition.
And so if they come out of high school and start CAC with a 2.35, they've got that first semester of the Promise scholarship to boost that GPA up to a 2.5 if they want to maintain it for that second semester.
Okay, so if they're coming out of high school, that first one, if they've taken the first step programs or other early college programs, they have that. If you're a student and traditionally you come in as a freshman, you have that first semester and you don't get a 2.5, then you lose the scholarship for the second semester. So it's there's a lot of time and money and commitment of people investing in the students out there, their future. So the contract part is keeping your commitment of staying in school and maintaining your grades.
And one of the reasons that you definitely want to make sure that your 8th grade signs this Promise for the Future scholarship contract is because our academic scholarships that are offered to the high schools, in the past they were at 30, we offered to the top 30%, and that has now gone down to the top 10% because of the growth in throughout the county. So we want to be sure that, make sure you sign this contract so that you're still, if you're not within the top 10% of the high school, you're still eligible for some scholarship.
Yeah, we can encourage that more. I mean, every year we have people that come into the college and they regret not having their son or daughter and mom and dad together sign that contract. We've heard stories where it's, my son or daughter was going to go to university. We knew that at this point, so we just signed it. Can we sign it now? Because now financial situation has changed. We're going to be the only way they can go to school now is through the community college, and we could really use that scholarship now. We can't grant that 4 years down the road. If they would have signed it and decided not to use it, no harm, no foul, nothing. They go on it. We're happy. We did our job. They're off to college somewhere else. That's great. But if they come back and they do need to utilize that resource, it's as simple as, a few signatures on a line and turning it in, and they have that as a safety net. Or as I tell students when we're out presenting in high schools and reminding them as freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors, as we do, it's part of our job, constantly reminding them about that contract, if they have it. I say you're walking around with a check in your back pocket every day you come to school, and remember that when you're looking at your grades and your midterms and those things, because if you meet that GPA requirement, if all else fails, you have a 2-year scholarship to CAC. So it's just reminding the students and parents of that is what we try to do best. So, don't hesitate, sign it, just sign it, get it into us. And then when it comes time, hopefully, you're either coming on board with us and able to tap into that resource of a scholarship, or you're off to another college or another university. So, we ask everybody out there to remember that.
With the program, do the students need to use that scholarship as soon as they come out of high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
In other words, they can't come back 2 years later and use it.
Right.
The clock ticks the freshmen.
Yeah, they'll need to use it that first full semester after graduation. Sometimes there's circumstances where you might have a graduate that they graduate early in December instead of graduating where they originally were supposed to graduate in the springtime and then enter in fall, and they want to enter into college early. So we might work with them. Those are individual circumstances that they would they would address that with probably even with myself and our financial aid director, and we look at those on an individual basis to see how we can work with the student in those cases.
You're listening to CAC Live. Tom DiCamillo, Joe Carrero. We're visiting with Luis Sanchez and Veronica Duran from Central Arizona College. Luis oversees admissions and recruitment. Veronica is the registrar. She's the one that can approve or disapprove your graduation, I always like to say. So graduation is coming up. Got to be an exciting time. And we have 3 different graduations, one at the Superstition Mountain campus, one at the Aravaipa campus, and the Signal Peak campus. And I asked somebody the other day, because we were talking about, we hold them outside. Yes. And in Arizona, the biggest challenge is, do you get a dust storm that day? Sometimes it rains. 40th anniversary, it poured for us, first time in 70 days. But for the most part, we do them outside. And I asked somebody, I said, how many people, looking at on the green where we do that Signal Peak campus, I said, how many people actually are out there? And it's, you look at numbers, and I'm usually pretty good at it. And I said, I don't know, 800, 1,000. Somebody told me 3,000 people come.
Yes.
And you're shaking your head. That stunned me. I mean, I guess just the way it looks, the green swallows them up. But wow, for community college.
We rent 3,000 white folding chairs for out on the green, and we fill all but maybe 1-2 rows towards the back. And you'll notice it's really nice because we're out on the green in that nice area, and you'll see people on the sides with lawn chairs and
little barbecue going.
But yes, we get at the Signal Peak campus, we get close to 3,000 guests.
It's going to be interesting because with my role now, I have to walk in graduation.
Yay!
And so I haven't walked in graduation since 1989. So I don't forget.
Do you have to wear a cap and gown?
I have I have to wear the whole thing.
Do you really?
I have to wear the whole thing. The only thing I ever kept was my tassel, which I have my tassel hanging up in my office. I had to order everything else. I didn't keep it. So it's but it'll be interesting. It'll be kind of fun because where I used to work, I graduated from there. So I got to walk in the graduation, so I knew what it was like. This, it'll be kind of neat to kind of get that feel of what everybody does. So
it's really exciting. It's great for the students. You get to see all the smiling faces and the parents and the guests out there as they're taking pictures, and everybody's excited, and it's really awesome. But this year, just to kind of let you know, Aravaipa's graduation is going to be on May 17th at 7 p.m.
I think 6:30.
You're right.
6:30.
I'm sorry. 6:30 on May 17th at the Aravaipa campus. Superstition Mountain campus is going to be at 9 a.m. at the Superstition Mountain campus. This
for
year,
the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. It's a little bit of a change, but it's actually going to be on campus at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. And then the Signal Peak campus graduation is going to be at 7 p.m. on May 18th.
It's the Aravaipa campus is, and what's really neat about that, it's a very small town, hometown sort of event. There's food afterwards, and all the families come out. And Joe Pirates, who is the county PR director, and he's a CAC alum and Wall of Success inductee, will be he's going to be the commencement speaker because he's from San Manuel, and Joe's going to do that. Leslie Carlisle Burnett is a CAC grad, and she's from the Auction Nation, and she's going to be our speaker down at the Signal Peak campus.
Yes.
And then Ken Buchanan is he used to work for the county, and now he lives up in Fountain Hills. He was on the CAC Foundation. He's going to be the guest speaker up at the Superstition Mountain campus. All three we tackled sort of at the Wall of Success event, and they were all graduates. They were all inductees this year into the CAC Wall of Success, and all three, we asked them that night if they would do the
great. Get 'em early.
get them early, and
That's awesome.
and we got them. So it's and then Evelyn Kasuga will get the governing board award. So that's really neat. She's done a terrific job serving as president of the CAC Foundation. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. This next weekend, it's coming up fast. GED graduation is a big event,
Yes, it is.
and that's coming up this Friday.
That's great. Yeah, that's a huge event. It's a great milestone for those students, in their lives to have completed GED and be able to participate in that way. We offer that ceremony for them.
People might think that the GED graduation, you might have, maybe 50, 75 people. We have to give out tickets for the Penn Center because there'll be 600 people that will
is
show up,
great.
and we
That's
have to
awesome.
limit it. It's unbelievable, and it's just a really great feeling. There was a young lady I remember a number of years ago. She got up there and she looked like she was probably like 21. She looked really young. She was actually probably about 10 years older, but she looked very young, like a young student. She got up there and gave her speech. She had 6 kids.
Oh, great.
6 kids went back to school. Their house had burned down. They had all this thing, and she went and was the commencement speaker for the GED graduation.
that's
So
great.
That's great.
it was really kind of neat. Lewis, how much do you guys get involved with recruiting those students to try to keep them coming back, after they go through the GED?
We try to do our best to provide them, an opportunity to come right in. We have, there's the scholarship pathway that they can come in through completing the GED program with CAC. We get out there, we make sure that we let them know about their opportunities through highlighting that we do have a lot of non-traditional students at CAC to make sure, sometimes I've talked to some of the GED students and they're like, well, I don't fit in with the typical college kid. And I said, well, time out. CAC has a lot of those not typical college kids. So a lot of times they're just not, they think they're not going to fit in, but we usually provide an opportunity where I coordinate with the GED instructors in the area of the Signal Peak campus. I know, and we say bring them out. Let's do a campus tour. So they give them an opportunity to find their way out there, and I'll take a group around the campus. We show them, all the amenities of the campus, and let them get their feet on the campus to see that there are some older folks there that are going to school. We take them to the Learning Center and talk about the support network with the free tutoring services and some of those types of things. And then you can kind of see them try to, see the shoulders drop a little bit where they're getting more comfortable and they're like, yeah, I can do this. The last group I had a student that literally followed me back toward my office. He says, what do I do next? So we sent him over to make sure to talk to the registration desk, and he had made an appointment for his advising session and all of that, and I ended up having him in my class in the next semester.
That's really neat.
So it was pretty cool. So that's where it's kind of rewarding when you see some of those conversations paying off in the end. That's why I love taking part in the graduations, just as a kind of a volunteer and being there because
I rope him in every year.
they rope me in every year, but it's one of those nights that when I go and it brings it full circle because you'll see some of those students that maybe you recruited out at the high school or maybe you ran into at one of the going in and talking to a GED class a few years back, and you're saying, wow. And first I started to see that I didn't realize I'd been here that long. Now they're graduating. Now they're off to the universities, and they still remember you. I have a young lady that says, oh, I remember when I came from out of the area and with my dad and we did a campus tour, and now I'm graduating this year. And I said, oh, I'll be at graduation to see you. So that's pretty cool for folks that do what we do to see that the work's paying off. We're helping get these students in, make a difference in their life. and letting them see accomplish that goal. So it's pretty rewarding for me to be able to take part in those types of things. So it's pretty cool.
We have a few minutes left. Let's talk about some of the. We've talked a lot about First Step and Promise for the Future, but and you know, we've had you guys on the show before. But for those listening, especially for the first time, or there's a lot of new people coming and going every day in Pinell County. There are other programs out there for high school students to start college, and I think one of the biggest things is I was looking at an application that you could do for RICO funds to help promote education, prevent gang participation, that kind of thing that the county is doing. And I'm thinking that all these programs that we do really keeps kids doing something constructive and out of that element and being productive. And it gets sort of infectious for them, because once they start going, you can see they really like being there.
Yeah, definitely. We have lots of different activities that keeps them, on campus that they can participate in. We have all of the different honors programs for students. We have the different student leadership and government that they can get involved in, and it just gives them activities to get to know each other. We have different groups that participate throughout the county and different organizations that go out. The different Alley in the. I never get the name. Is Alley in the
Art in the Alley?
Art in the Alley. There you go. That we have different organizations that take part in that and participate in what some of their activities, and so, in different scholarship opportunities that just kind of keep them going. We have a GED scholarship. I don't remember the criteria for that scholarship, but students that complete their GED can have scholarships to come out to CAC and take classes. So we definitely want to encourage education and get students to, just kind of take some interest in what their future has to offer to them.
If you show interest, they seem to want to come back.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why it's key, I think, with the high school programs is one of the, as a recruiter mindset, one of the best things you can ever do is get a student to step foot on a campus. And they have to find out if they really fit there. So I always tell students, regardless of where you go to college, make an effort to go to that campus. See if you fit in. There's other people that that you're going to be able to get along with. Do you like the staff? Ask questions. Are you going to be comfortable there? Because the last thing you want to do is put several thousands of dollars in time, money, energy, and efforts into several years of your life and not be comfortable there. So we always try to get them out, come take a campus visit, do a tour, take part in First Step, take part in Early College, which is a program we're enrolling for right now as well for high schools. We talked a little bit about earlier. That's for the fall semester. So students can come out, high school juniors and seniors of next year can register for classes right now for the early college program. Dual enrollment is another program that we offer at some Pinell County high schools that allows students to take college credits right there at their own school and get CAC credit and high school credit at the same time. The students will pay tuition and fees for that, but it's convenience for them and their family where they just go to their traditional high school class schedule, but they're getting some college credit. So we're looking at trying to grow that program right now, expand more offerings into some of the high schools, but it's something that's growing that my office is working pretty good at trying to bring more opportunity again to the younger demographic, to give them opportunity to experience CAC in one way, shape, or form.
It's funny. We there's a couple of the employees. We play pickup basketball a couple days a week, and there's a couple of students, some from the community, that just kind of wandered in, or they knew somebody, and now they're students. And like when we're playing, then it goes back to making that connection, no matter how it is. I always say everybody at CAC is marketing to college. When you walk off that campus, you go somewhere, no matter who you talk to. And
913 of the contract.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
You've never read that.
But you're right. I mean, and I noticed in our situation the last few years, there's been a number of students, just kids from the community that came over, knew somebody, showed up at the gym because they wanted to shoot around, and then they end up going because they end up seeing this environment that's totally different. And it's about, as you make somebody comfortable, they make that leap to come.
Yeah, and that falls right back to what we talked about before, and why the grassroots effort is so important, is making that connection with somebody face to face, inviting them out and meeting with them in person on the campus and guiding them around, or setting them up with, which we love to do, is with our work studies who are actual CAC students, some that live on campus. They're the ones that get to interact with the potential student and take them and show them the campus, talk to them about what campus life is about, and help them to see if there is that connection. And we have a pretty high, I would say, capture rate when students actually come out and experience the campus, to seeing them again down the road. So it's pretty awesome. I love that.
As a recruiter, you got to be excited about the 2 campuses opening, Maricopa and especially Santan, because the Santan Center had to expand because it filled quickly. But there is a big difference between going to a strip shopping center and going to a campus, and just mentally of saying, I'm going to make that decision to go because I want that campus experience.
Oh yeah, it's definitely I say it puts more ammo in the arsenal for us. It's much easier to sell a nice big pretty campus than it is to sell a strip mall, like you said. So when we can tell students, hey, you can come there, you're going to have your own library, you're going to have a cafe on campus, student space to relax in. There's hopefully some grassy areas where you can sit out on a day under a tree and do homework. You can go to a computer lab and don't feel crammed and tight, and there's going to be more students, so it feels more like a college. That's much easier to sell, especially to younger students, than it is to, again, saying, here's our location. It's a small little spot here. They want to feel like they're going to college, so it definitely helps us out a lot.
Yeah, in Maricopa, we know the Maricopa campus has one building open right now. So for those of you that live in that area or are interested, definitely take a visit out there. They've got the bookstores open. They have the cafeteria and a couple of the classrooms open that you can walk through and see. And it gives you an idea of what the campus is going to be like. They're getting ready to open up, the other buildings for the classrooms and things. But it is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing to see the difference between when it was at that Basha strip mall over there.
Split into 2 locations.
Yeah. And now it's got this big, huge campus, and to walk onto campus and to feel like a real college student, it's great.
It's more inviting and welcoming when you walk in there. I was out at Maricopa campus last week. It was pretty much all closed down. It was wrapping up, and I just took the time to kind of walk around there by myself and look at things, and I said, feels like a college now.
Yeah.
It's feeling more. I said I could be a young student living out here and feel comfortable coming here every day, sitting down in that little cafe, going into the bookstore, buying my CAC sweatshirt, and then sitting out in the grassy area on a nice day or out on the big patio. Great view of the mountains and everything. So it's definitely, a lot different than going to the center before. So it's, I look forward. I'm excited for those students that are going to be able to experience that coming forward. So
the hour's blown by, so we're gonna have Veronica back in June
20th,
and you're gonna have representatives from U of A, ASU, and NAU to talk about CAC's partnership and how you come to CAC and then get you on to the 4-year schools afterwards. And then I think you guys are going to be back before the semester starts in the fall when we're opening up the new location. So thanks to both of you as always. CAC, you guys do a tremendous job, and it's really an exciting time.
Thank
you.
you.
So just, Joe, we're glad to be back on the air. We're glad that you're feeling better.
Yes.
And then we'll be back next Thursday at 10:30 for CAC Live. For Joe Carrero, I'm Tom DiCamillo. Thanks for listening to CAC Live on KQCK in the Santan Valley.